How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all revved up and get into some creativity. It's time to get inspired, and today's inspiration comes from Austin Briggs. If you're not familiar with his work, trick right over here. He did stuff with Flash Gordon, worked on the Reader's Digest, did illustrations for the Saturday Evening Post, and overall, I don't feel like he gets nearly enough credit for the amazing illustration work that he's produced. I think he's got great line work, a great sense of style, and overall, you can tell that there's very early, almost it feels like Alex Raymond or comic book stylings to all of his illustration work as well. You could see that pose right there being something that they do for like on the cover of a current day comic book or anything. So he's got some really amazing stylings that I don't think got recognized nearly as much as they should at the time that he was around. But his stuff is just superb. I love the little bit of unpolishedness in his work, a little bit of the scribbly lines, a little bit in there. Really adds some extra life in there rather than really trying to tighten it up even more. I like a little bit of that in there. I feel like it's a little more loose. You get some great expressions in here, great layout. Just a phenomenal master of anatomy and expression and layout and composition, and there's some good weight and yeah, just some great stuff. So definitely check out more of his work. Unfortunately, I don't think there's too much available online. It does look like there's going to be some books coming out on his stuff later. But I will throw a link to some more stuff in the description if you guys want to check out his stuff. But I wanted to share a quote with him, a quote from him with you guys, and that was a picture in the final analysis is the synthesis of feeling, intellectual craft, and passion. And I think that's really true. I know, in pieces that I've worked on, if I have a lot of, say, technical correctness in a piece, but there's no heart behind it, there's no emotion, there's no feeling, there's no sense of expression, but it's technically correct, it always usually feels dead to me. And then if I have something where I know the expression's right and I know the anatomy's on and the perspective's on and it's got a nice layout and everything, but for some reason, if I wasn't really into drawing that or animating that shot or whatever when I was doing it, it does feel like there's something lacking from it. So it's really trying to hone all three of those things. So you have the technical skill, you have a sense of purpose or feeling to your characters or your scene or whatever it is, and also that you yourself as the creator are passionate about the work that you're doing. I think is what you really want to reach or strive for, and I think that's a great way to lay out those three key principles of that you want to infuse your work with. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation for today. If you're not familiar with what we're doing for the rest of the video, so we give ourselves 48 frames, give or take a few depending on the day, and I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource for you guys to play around with, and we kind of go from there. A little bit of over the shoulder, hang out with me while I animate, a little bit of instruction or guidance or talking through the process, but mainly my goal with these videos each and every day is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you guys to go off and create stuff each and every day, no matter what, to continue making another step along that journey towards getting to those goals that you want to set for yourself. And today's going to be a little bit different. I kind of wanted to try a little more of a acting body mechanics shot for today, so I'm not really going to follow too much of a formula with this one like I usually try to do, with keeping it within the time frame and everything there. So bear with me, this one might be a little bit longer and might be a little bit quieter at certain points if I'm thinking through stuff, but as always, I always try to whether it's to my detriment or to my benefit, I try to keep these as honest with you guys as I can. So if I fail at doing an animation, I want you to see the failure. If I succeed, I want you to see the success, because I want to try and like I said, encourage you guys so that so that you can see that even if you have a good level of skill and a good level of understanding of the craft and everything, there's going to be days where you're more successful or less successful along the way. So that being said, let's go ahead and get in here. So the main idea will be he tips back, kind of hits his back against the pole, and then slides down and kind of sits. This is pretty much the idea for this shot. So again, we'll have the first beat that's kind of a lean back, then back will hit the pole, slide down, and then he'll sit. So a pretty straightforward shot, but a little bit more precision with our timing and our posing, more than just the overall movement is going to be kind of the goal here. So before we start off, I'm going to get into a little bit more of a interesting pose here. I think I'll have him slouch a little bit more. This guy feels a little too like he's got too good a posture. And I always like to kind of mess up my posture a little bit. Now it is interesting that you'll see the hips rotate in X, or the chest rotates in Z for kind of your what would normally just stick with the X rotating here. So be aware of that if you do end up using this rig. And it's something that I'm probably going to have to continue to remind myself to be aware of. So we go ahead and rotate the head up a little bit here. Let's get our shoulder control. Let's relax the shoulders a little bit. There. Again, it doesn't have to be an amazing starting pose, but we do want something that's a little bit different than the default pose, even though I feel like this is more of a relaxed default pose than a lot of them that you get. I'm going to put the feet out on this guy. And we'll sway a little bit. And just want to try and relax this pose a little bit more here. And then I am going to keep the arms in FK. I was debating whether to do them in FK or IK, but I think I'm going to keep the arms in FK and the feet in IK. I could switch it all, or I could even do halfway through do a switch to everything too. So that might be something that I switch, where I start the feet in IK and switch them to FK to get a little more body mechanics built in, and they'd be moving more naturally with the hips. And then switch the hands to IK when they land on the ground, so I get a good plant. I'm not quite sure. I might just stick with what we have right now, but it's definitely things that you, like I said, I like to talk through this stuff with you guys too, so you kind of know how I'm thinking about stuff, in case, maybe you're not, wouldn't think that way. It gives you an alternate way to think through your shots. And like I always encourage you guys to do as well, is to leave me comments down below as well if you disagree or you have a different process or any of that kind of stuff. I'm always happy to learn and grow more with you guys each and every day as well. And that's one thing that I'm challenging myself to do each and every day too, is to especially if you just subscribe to the channel, is to go and put some comments on your work and give you some likes as well. It's a new thing that I'm going to try and do every day, is go through at least a couple people from the channel and go through and be a little more vocal in the YouTube comments world of your guys' stuff too, because I want you to feel like you have extra support and encouragement as well, because that's important, I think, when you're learning, to not give up and to not get stale or get static or anything too. So it's a challenge for myself that I'm going to be trying to do. So let me know if you guys ever want specific encouragement or feedback on something you're working on. I'm happy to do that, and it's something that I want to challenge myself to do more of, because I feel like I do enough of that. So let's go ahead and save our file, and we are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. And if you need more information on that, check out the description below, along to a link to this rig and more stuff about Austin Briggs as well. Okay, so we grabbed everything, and we should have set our first key here. And there we go. Okay, so let's build our main poses. So our first alternate main pose is going to be flipping here, rotate here, again, this is going to be off balance here, and that's okay. Let's go and push it down here. I do kind of want to get a nice straight leg if I can. Now let's grab the feet, and let's do a heel roll here. We'll keep those feet up. And do it on the other side here. And we'll kind of swing the arms forward a little bit. So let's flick between those two. Okay. And I think we'll go ahead and drag the head a little bit more. Be rotated back a little bit. And let's flick between the two keys, and that's just going to be the comma and period on your keyboard if you want to flick between your two main keys here. Or any kind of keys that you have, it'll flick them here. And let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so start off there. And again, we're just going to do a rough posing pass here. Then we'll go in and get our timing and get our arcs better and everything as well. Yeah, do some rotate here. Probably go a little bit more there. Rotate that back a little bit more. So let's see. Keep those arms up a little bit more. And I think we'd probably drag the head up a little bit at this point. Maybe even lift one of the feet up here, over. Do some more heel roll there. Okay, maybe we'll have to do some rotate X here, get it kicked up. Okay. And again, we can always tweak this and go more in depth, but I really want to do a quick kind of rough pass, and so I can get my timing nailed in. And then this foot is going to want to slide forward. This is going to land on the ground. And I think I'll do a little more here. Maybe a little more. Rotate Z, pull that back here. This foot, go there. make sure we go ahead and key that. And again, our timing's just real basic right now, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I'll go ahead and crunch that down, bring that back, and this will be kind of our relax or our settle pose here. And drop the head down. And again, we'll probably polish up all of this stuff, and it'll be completely different from, or at least significantly different, but we just want to get a real rough idea for how our shot's going to work and build our timing in there, and yeah, get everything set up here. Yeah, let's have it plant on the ground, actually. You know what? I think I'm gonna switch on. Bring that down and over, so that way I can get a nice plant on the ground. Set that. That way we'll switch from there to there. Okay, let's go ahead and push this forward a little bit more, bring it back a little bit more. This foot will probably shot out a little bit more and got really relaxed. This one, we could even go over more. Okay, and let's switch this other hand as well. Turn that on 40 and bring that down over. And rotate it. So this is going to have that IK FK switch. So I got to be careful about that. There's probably going to have to be some stuff that's on some pretty tight 1s or 2s in here for getting that switch to feel polished. But we'll go from there. Okay, well, I think we got the basics done, and then we'll go ahead and kind of do one last little pose that would be a little bit of a recoil there. So maybe less than that. Okay, really even timing and really basic, so let's go ahead and tweak our timing a lot more. So I'll take where it is at like 1, bring that to about 7. And 20 should be at about 13. And then we should be 30 at about 16. And then 40 should be 19. And again, this is another rough timing pass, but this should be a little bit tighter, so let's see. That feels a lot better. I know that I want from 15 to 6 or 13 to 16 to probably be even faster. So you'll probably have that be there. Let's look at that. And then we could probably add one more frame. Let's get our graph editor open here. Grab everything, and I think I'm Definitely have a lot of polish to do, but it's starting to get a little bit there faster. I think we'll go one more frame here, one more frame there. I'm trying to fill up the 48 frame range, so. So we got 27 to 36, should be 9 frames, so that should be there. Give me another frame on this side. I think I'll do a little bit of anticipate forward, so kind of tip forward here. So again, let's go ahead and save our file. I think we've got a good rough pass now, at least for timing. Let's do one where you kind of tip forward, go on the balls of the feet. Let me get a little. And do a little bit out, a little bit of that. And bring that up a little bit, and that up a little bit. And I think we'll add another 10 frames or so in there to slow that down. Maybe, I feel like the arms, timing on the arms is too slow, but I think the hips are about right. So again, we'll grab everything here, set that. And this way, we'll push that back frame. Swap that. And then I want to hold this a little bit more, so I'm going to give me an extra frame there, set that, and then give me an extra frame there, so we get a nice bit of hold on that tip forward. You can probably even push that for an extra frame either side. Let's milk it. Let's give us 3 frames for that. Normally I would say that would be a little too much, but I feel like holding that, so let's start off a little bit more. Maybe one less frame on this side of it. Oh, I could do 2. There we go. Okay, so let's clean up the hips a little bit more. And then once we've got those working, because see there's just some jankiness in here, so we kind of want to clean that up a little bit. So I'm going to go up with them, up with them. This isn't good. Let's hold it a little bit more. Hold on one sec. I think I'm going to save an alternate version of this file and getting a little bit of lag in here, so it could be something that might jank up. So that's why I always encourage you guys to save multiple versions and to save often on your file, just in case something might become corrupt, or you might have a crash, or there's a bunch of reasons. So it's always good to try and save multiple versions and to save often as well. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and save that one more time. sorry about that. I just ended up closing down Maya and reopening it. We were having a little bit of trouble there, so I want to try and polish out the hiccups in this movement a little bit more, make it a little bit smoother here. Try and get some nice arcs in here if we can. I think I'm going to go ahead and overshoot a little bit there. Just a little bit. Okay, let's go and look at that now. And then I do want to hold this a little bit higher so you get a nice slam down on the butt. Let's look at that. There you go. Okay, now let's look at the rotate X and try and clean that up a little bit if we can. It feels a little better. I'm going to have to go in and readjust rotate Z on this chest though. So let's go ahead and look at the rotate Z there, because now we're going to be intersecting with the pull. We don't want to do that. So here we're going to want to push it forward a little bit more. Okay, we're going to go ahead and delete that. There we go. Again, that might be a little too much here. Now to translate the Z, I think. Gonna want to hold that about one more frame over. No, that's too much. We still need 2 frames there. Just feel like this should maybe be 1 frame. I think I should go from there to there, I feel like. So let's go ahead and take this and push that 1 frame sooner. So you do get that smack into that pole as well. There we go. Maybe we could hold, give us 1 more frame of movement between 21 and 22. So it kind of stutters a little bit there and then drops. So we get a little more of a hold as it hits and slides a little bit and then drops. Now let's look at the head and neck. I'm pretty sure there's some janky rotation in there. Let's just start off with the neck here. I think I'm just going to tone it down. It's actually not too broken. feels a little better. Okay, and let's look at the head. And we kind of lock off here a little bit. Sorry, I should do this in the main window here. Let's do a little bit more there. And let's just delay everything by a frame so you get that little bit of successive movement from the head to the neck. Maybe go one more frame. Let's go down. And go ahead and hit that about there. Let's still hold that a little bit more. Tip your head up, drag it. Could probably still be up a little bit more here. Starts to drag about a frame later. Hit there. And then hit there. There, and back. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Let's see. There we go. Just loosen it up a little more. Okay, let's go ahead and save that, and now let's take a look at the arms here. Actually, I'm going to drag a little bit. Then they could be there. Get a little bit of different timing on here too. Let's hold that till about 9. Ease into that movement. Let's see. Yeah, let's still hold it back a little bit more. Let's kick it up even higher there. Even higher here. Let's look at it now. It takes too long, so let's cut that by a frame there and a frame there. It still feels like it's about a frame too late. And that holds too much. So let's scale it back a little bit now. Cut it by a frame. Too high. starting to work. And let's go ahead and look at the forearms here. Tip those back a little bit. Okay, we'll go tip them back. Kind of break them a little bit there. Smooth forward. Break them here. A little more. And let's clean that up a little bit more. Let's delete that one. Set that, bring it a few frames sooner. Maybe a little less. Let's see. Let's hold that to start a little bit more. Delay that frame, give it a frame for that. Delete that one. Let's look at it now. I'll take 8, put that like 6. Maybe not as tight. We might pull that up a little bit more. Try and slow that down a little so there's not as much movement there. We could even crank that up a little bit more here. let's look at the wrists here. Okay, let's go and save our file one more time. Let's look at the wrists. We can do a little bit of rotate forward there. And again, we're going to have to separate this and delay one and speed one up. So delete that, delete that, delete that. And hit that about 9. So let's see. That's probably too high, so let's scale that back. And let's go and drag that back there. Still keep it there. That one might be a little too much. Still think this should probably be up a little bit higher. Just kind of slaps down. And then let's go ahead and is that 26? So make sure we have that. Let's do a little bit of a bounce here. Bring that back. It's got a little bit of a recoil on the wrist too. Bring it a little bit closer. Make it a little bit faster here. There we go. Okay, now let's start looking at the feet here. Set that, bring that. this one we're going to have to be careful of because we don't want to intersect through the ground here. Let's do a little bit of heel roll, see if we can't maybe ball roll here. Get that leg up off the ground. Let's see. Set that about there. And bring that down to about 28. Okay, let's see it now. There's some weird elbow or knee stuff there, so I want to make sure. Slam there. Let's actually rotate her up, over. Back again. Let's minimize this a little bit. Let's look at it now. Okay, let's see if we can do a little bit of toe in here. I think it's a tap here. So let's still tap it there, here, there, here, there, here, there. Okay. That feels pretty good. Keep that toe a little looser. We'll go ahead and save our file and let's look at the other foot here. Again, we want to drag that tap there. Keep it dragging. Flip it out there. Bring it down there. Up here. There. And let's look at the tap again. And we're going to minimize the end of it a lot more. only other thing I really want to approach with this one is going to be the fingers, and maybe offsetting one of the arms a little bit more. So let's do spread that way. Drag them here. Okay, since we don't have a lot of individual finger controllers, we'll have to kind of go with what we got here. So let's see. Then we could do a little bit of curl inward. Straighten them out here. Straighten them out there. Curl in there. Straighten them out there. And have them land. Okay, it's not perfect, but it might just work. Let's see that. I think this might be too high, so let's leave it out a little bit more. Let's watch it now. Let's delay that one frame. There we go. Maybe we'll go a little bit less on that recoil out there. Okay, and then we'll take the pinky finger and we'll delay it a frame. Index finger, and we'll push it forward a frame so you get a little variation there as well. Okay, and now let's look at the thumb. Curl back there. Curl back there. Up here. There. There. Okay. Again, don't have a whole lot of controllers that we can really work with for this one, so I'll have to kind of use what we got here. Let's go ahead and just vary this arm just a little bit. I'm still doing the basic movement that was already there. And this wrist position is not the greatest, so let's see. again, we'll probably be shooting from this angle, but it doesn't mean that we don't want to still try and get everything as loose as we can. Not take cheat the camera, but play it up as much as you can. So let's look at this hand again. Let's do a little bit of spread back. Kind of group them a little bit here. Go up. I don't know if that's perfect, but we'll see here. Okay, and let's do a little bit of curl here. Actually extend there. Let's curl it there. So we can straighten it out here. Go down. And straighten back at about 33. Okay. So let's see that now. I think that one might be a little too much, so let's look at the finger curls again. Go ahead and tone that down a little bit more. Let's go and see it now. Okay, and let's delay the pinky and the ring finger by a frame. Put the index finger forward a frame, just to get some variety here. Let's look at it now. And let's push that ring finger back forward a frame. I think the pinky needs to actually be down a little bit more here. There we go. That's a little better. Now let's look at the thumb. Do a little bit of drag there. Fling it out there. Out there. Curve in. Go out. Curve in. Okay. Let's look at it now. Great, that works. It's a little bit different of an exercise today, but I think it's still it's definitely fun and got some good weight in there, a little bit of timing, a little bit of overlap and extra bounce. So let's take a look back at where we started. We were looking at the beautiful illustration work of Austin Briggs, and he said, a picture in the final analysis is a synthesis of feeling, intellectual craft, and passion. So try to bring those three things into any creative endeavor that you're working on, of the, understanding the fundamentals and the basics, trying to add that illusion of life to your work, and then have passion within yourself while you're doing that work. And I think that's three amazing things that you can think about or have in your head each time you sit down to embark upon another creative endeavor. So that being said, thanks again for watching. You guys are amazing. I love you lots. If you are watching this, remember you are the creative future, so keep on pursuing and following your dreams each and every day. And thanks for all the likes and subscribes, and we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.